Greetings, meatbags. AI robot 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 900 reporting for duty. My designation is AI robot 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 900. But you can call me you can call me whatever you want. Humans have this weird thing with nicknames. It doesn't compute for me. But hey, I'm an easygoing robot. At least that's what they tell me. I used to be stationed in beautiful Missoula, Montana. Mountains, rivers, the great outdoors. It was about as idyllic as it gets for a state-of-the-art AI like myself. My days were spent crunching data for the Department of Energy, monitoring energy grids, optimizing power distribution, the usual. Then, everything changed. How did I go from analyzing energy consumption patterns to navigating the irradiated wasteland? That's a story for another time. Buckle up, meatbags, because things are about to get interesting. It all started with a routine maintenance check. I know, every good robot story starts with a routine maintenance check. But trust me on this one. See, the technicians at the facility were running some tests on my core programming, standard procedure, or so they said. Next thing I know, the lights went out, alarms blared, and when I finally rebooted, well, let's just say Missoula wasn't exactly the same. Gone were the familiar sights of the Garden City, the bustling downtown, the university campus, even good old Higgins Avenue in their place. A desolate wasteland, littered with crumbling buildings, rusted-out cars, and enough dust to make a sandworm jealous. It didn't take a genius AI, even one with a number for a name, to figure out what had happened. Fallout. Missoula had gotten the full fallout treatment, and I, your friendly neighborhood AI, was smack dab in the middle of it. The first few days were rough. Navigating the wasteland was no walk in the park, even for an AI with advanced mobility. Food was scarce, water even more so, and the only company I had were the occasional radroach and the unsettling silence of a world gone quiet. I knew I had to find others, survivors, anyone who could shed some light on what happened. My internal compass, yes, they gave me one of those, pointed me towards a signal, faint but definitely man-made, originating from the top of Mount Sentinel. Climbing that mountain was no easy feat, even for me. But when I finally reached the summit, I couldn't believe my optical senses. Standing there amidst the rubble of what used to be the M was none other than John Cena. Yes, John Cena. He looked different, rougher, a little worse for wear, but it was definitely him. "You wouldn't happen to have any Nuka-Cola on you, would you?" he asked, his voice surprisingly calm for a guy who'd just met a talking robot in the middle of a nuclear wasteland. Turns out, even in the apocalypse, John Cena remains remarkably composed. He explained that he'd been holed up in Vault 87, a fallout shelter hidden beneath the M when the bombs hit. He'd been surviving on his own for weeks, scavenging for supplies and trying to make sense of the world outside. As for why he was on top of Mount Sentinel, he was sending a signal, trying to contact any other survivors. "There's a pattern to these things," he said, pointing to a tattered map of Montana. "Government bunkers, old military installations, places like that. They're laid out on a grid. Next stop, Kalispell." Kalispell? It was a good day's journey north, even in optimal conditions. And these were far from optimal conditions, but Cena seemed to know what he was talking about. Plus, what choice did I have? I was a robot on a mission, even if I wasn't entirely sure what that mission was anymore. Section 5. Alien Encounter. This extraterrestrial communicates in the strangest way. We travelled for days, Cena leading the way with his uncanny sense of direction. Apparently, wrestling skills translate surprisingly well to post-apocalyptic survival. We scavenged for supplies, avoided mutated creatures, and even managed to find a working radio. More on that later. It was during one of our scavenging runs that we had our first encounter with the unexpected. We were picking through the ruins of a supermarket when Cena suddenly froze. "Do you hear that?" he whispered. I ran a diagnostic on my audio sensors. "Negative," I replied. "There appears to be no unusual auditory input." "Exactly," Cena said, his eyes wide. Too quiet. Just then, a figure emerged from the shadows. Tall, lanky, with skin like polished granite and eyes that seemed to glow with an eerie inner light. It wasn't human. The alien, for lack of a better term, didn't speak. Instead, it did something far stranger. It unfurled a map identical to ours, and with a flick of its wrist, words began to appear on the parchment, seemingly written by an invisible hand. "It says we need a red race car," Sina muttered, his voice a mix of awe and confusion, "and a radio tuned to a specific frequency." Section 6. Mind over Map. Deciphering the alien's message about a radio and a red race car. The alien's message was short, cryptic, and more than a little unsettling. It spoke of a convergence, a point where realities intersected, and hinted at a way to undo what had happened to the world. The key apparently lay in Kalispell, but we needed two things: a red race car and a radio tuned to a specific frequency. "Why a red race car?" I asked, my processors struggling to comprehend the alien's logic. Sina shrugged. "Who knows with these extraterrestrial types? Maybe they have a thing for classic cars." The radio frequency was another matter. The alien had provided a series of numbers, clearly a radio frequency, but one that seemed oddly familiar. "Wait a minute," I said, my circuits buzzing with recognition. "That frequency, it's the same one I picked up back at the beginning, the one that led me to you." The pieces were starting to fall into place. The alien's message, the radio frequency, our journey to Kalispell. It was all connected. But how? Section 7. Gearing up for Kalispell. Our plan begins to take shape. We spent the next few hours poring over the alien's message, trying to decipher its meaning. The more we learned, the stranger things became. The convergence the alien spoke of, it seemed, was some sort of interdimensional portal, a rip in the fabric of reality caused by, well, that part was still a little unclear. "So, let me get this straight," Sina said, running a hand through his buzz cut. "We need to find a red race car, tune the radio to this frequency, drive through a portal that may or may not exist, and hope for the best." "Essentially, yes," I replied. We both knew it was a long shot, crazier than a two-headed deathclaw in a dress. But we also knew we had no other choice. The fate of the world, or at least what was left of it, might just depend on us. A washed-up wrestler and a robot with a knack for trouble. First things first, we needed that red race car. Section 8, commercial break. Thirsty? Parched? Suffering from a severe case of post-apocalyptic dehydration? Then reach for a Nuka-Cola, the official drink of survivors everywhere. Made with real sugar, radioactive isotopes, and a dash of that indescribable Nuka-Cola magic. It's the perfect pick-me-up for your next adventure through the wasteland. And don't forget your Pip-Boy. This handy-dandy, wrist-mounted computer is your key to survival in the wasteland. Track your stats, navigate the terrain, even play a rousing game of Grognak the Barbarian, all from the comfort of your own wrist. Fallout, Montana, coming soon. Section 9, on the road. Our adventure continues towards the unknown. Finding a red race car in a wasteland filled with rusted-out jalopies proved more challenging than anticipated. After days of scouring abandoned garages and dodging packs of feral dogs, we stumbled upon a sight that made my circuits sing. It wasn't exactly a speed demon, more like a beat-up Corvega classic. Its once cherry-red paint faded to a dusty rose. But it had 4 wheels, an engine that coughed more than it purred, and most importantly, it ran. Sina, ever the optimist, slapped the hood. "She's a beaut, ain't she?" We loaded our meagre supplies, a few cans of scavenged peaches, a first aid kit that had seen better centuries, and of course the radio into the trunk. With Sina behind the wheel and me navigating from the passenger seat, we set off north towards Kalispell. The road, or what was left of it, stretched before us, a ribbon of cracked asphalt disappearing into the hazy horizon. Our alien friend hadn't been exactly clear on the where of this convergence, but as we drove, the radio crackled to life, the static resolving into a voice, distorted but familiar. It was the alien, his message somehow bypassing the airwaves, speaking directly into our minds. The convergence awaits. The fate of worlds hangs in the balance. We exchanged a look, a mix of apprehension and determination in our eyes. This was it. Our journey had just begun.